Kakak, tahun depan aku nggak boleh ke sekolah. I can't go to school, so I am working with my parents. These are the two phrases that I come across a lot during my volunteering work. Before that, let me introduce myself. I am Manis, and I am from Universiti Sains Malaysia, also a youth leader volunteer, where I go around to do some volunteers with indigenous people and rural areas and come across with this pattern very oftenly. So before to start everything, I would like go to here. Yes, it is true we do not ratify the Convention on Refugee and Stateless, but you guys, do you know that we actually ratified the CRC as mentioned before? And the CRC, in Malaysia, we have Child Act, which is every child need a basic education. They have the right to education. They have right to their name and identification. That means, regardless of their status, their background, a child should get everything, which is from education, their background, and their identification. Unfortunately, we are far from there. Okay, let's see. This is what we can conclude, actually, to be honest. Since when I was going for volunteering, especially in Sarawak, I love Sarawak. I went to Longkawo, I went to Bakalalan, Long Lati, and a few places more. And I come across with a pattern. Since we can't go to school, we are going to work. Even the teachers, the primary school teachers and their parents are promoting, okay, it's okay, let's go to work. Yes, it is true. I was convinced somehow when they are saying, oh, at least we are earning, at least they let the children to earn and so on. And then when I'm seeing this pattern continues, it kind of like worries me or it's more concerning. What about their education? Since in future, we do not know what's going to happen. In future, maybe they are safe in their village. But in 10 to 20 years old, 20 years later, are these going to be the same? That's the question mark. So here is the circulation. When I would say is lack of education, poverty, and child labor is very related. When there is child labor, that means there are lack of education. And when there are poverty, there will be lack of education, there will be child labor. Since the reason behind child labor is poverty. The parents are bringing their children to work together to earn more money since they are in the poverty itself. It's not like they do not want to send their children to education, but since the poverty is the main causes there. But we still can't deny that this is actually Child Act violation. When we are not giving a child an education, we are not giving them a freedom, we are bringing them to child labor. This is actually a Child Act violation. And how do we going to change this? It's by giving them education so that we can break the chain of poverty. And yeah, this is some facts that I found, and here we can see like the numbers. Yeah, there's like huge numbers, and we have to agree we don't have enough data, and there are numbers that like in West Malaysia, we do not have the number on child labor, on stateless, and here also are some of the datas. And what is concerning is, this is all including child below 12 and also like below 18. That means below 12, they should have their own childhood, but they are pushed to the workload or workforce. And these are something when children, they are being pushed to child labor, they are exposed to hazardous or vulnerable situation. Just a story when I was like being in Padang Kota Lama in Penang, and I witnessed a girl came to me selling snacks and fruits. It was 3 a.m. and she is just 8 years old. Imagine she is like loitering around selling snacks and fruits. There are a few points. First, she is losing her sleep. She is working late at night, which means her development, her growth is already affecting there. And the second one, when loitering around, even with siblings or parents, she is exposed to violence. She is exposed to kidnapping, human trafficking, or even harassment or anything. We do not know what can happen around that midnight or even outside. When a little girl is actually doing that, it doesn't matter a girl or a boy, when a children exposed to all the world, child laboring and so on, they are actually exposed to exploitation, and this is also where they are going to be stuck in the same cycle, which is poverty. Yes, it is true, they are earning, But how about education? They can earn. They can do their own business, be hawker or working with people. But that's the end. How they are going to develop their self. Since they are going to be stuck there, that is the cycle they are going to face for future. That's where we have to stop. Yes, it is true. We have like a lot of alternative education center. We have a lot of NGOs, CSOs working for education center provider, but unfortunately they face a few challenges that I think we really need to voice it out, which is overcrowded. And overcrowded is also related to the out of reach, which is all this center or all this learning center mostly in gray area or in high density area of refugees or even stateless. If we go into rural areas, it's very hard to find learning centers or even hard to find NGO near them. So what they are doing, they're just going to work as usual. And the parents, lack of parents' acknowledgement exposure. Since these places are very out of reach and the parents, we can't lie that refugees are living in a dark alley. They are still being hidden because of afraid of the reality outside world, how they're going to treat them, how they're going to be exploited. So there are people who are still hidden. And how do those parents going to know the importance of education? There is free education for their child outside. They do not know. So therefore, it's very related when the parents do not know. They keep on pushing or bringing their children to work with them. And yes, unable to provide comprehensive curriculum. Actually, I was very happy to be here because I'm learning that a lot of learning centers nowadays is giving like certs and also having vocational and skill development. But again, this is centered or maybe it's not fulfilled yet or even holistic to throughout like our demographic is still just starting. I really hope it can expand more so that we can help more people in the rural area itself. That's the challenges. And yeah, we know a lot of NGOs. This is some NGO that I'm familiar and have been worked with. Yeah, the current initiative, I would like to skip this part because all of us know and well aware about this. And yeah, no worries, mine is very short. And policy reform and advocacy that I maybe can like suggest throughout what I have been speak or like get to know people, what's their thoughts and including mine throughout my learning. There are some systemic change that we should go for, which is education should be a right for children, not a privilege. Now in Malaysia, it's a privilege. I warga negara, I dapat pendidikan. Bukan warga negara, tak dapat pendidikan. If tak ada status, tak dapat pendidikan. That means it's a privilege. If I have like my identification, I get the education. But actually, education is basic rights, not privilege. That's the change that we should do. And yes, we have strict law enforcement with proactive and reactive relation or reaction actually. And this is not actually we're gonna like caught people who are letting their children to work or labor force. No, but it's more different. How actually kebajikan, unit kebajikan or those welfare going to help these parents to educate them and to let them know actually they are free learning centers so that we can exchange the knowledge and to let them know so that they don't be in the dark itself. And lastly, grants for support groups and NGO. I'm also working with climate, sustainable. We have a lot of grants. Like my NGO get grants, but when I'm working closely with the stateless or refugee, how we are going to help them, we are lack of grants. So I think maybe like increasing the grants is also can increase the funding besides doing the partnership. And yes, this is the Thailand, actually our previous presenter already talked about that. Education for all policy, maybe we can also consider on that. And actually this is my point of view. When we can give them education, they can get access to decent work. And at last we can break the poverty cycle. And what I would like to say, children might be our future. When the children is in Malaysia, in future they can be our assets. Therefore, we have to give them education, and education should be the right, not the privilege. Thank you.